mine will be a beautiful service. 1. When you bury me, fold my arms neat over the plateau of a double-breasted suit, the angle of the lapel matching my now permanent expression. Pressed, chemical, I will look content, but confused, as when you watch me turn in my sleep, dreaming of a Golgotha in beeswax, a coffin for swallows, a toothless augur reading the flights and cries of owls. You will hear the cadence of my voice, the snapping oblique of my laugh. Among the votives and canticles, you will trace with the tips of your thumbs lines of demarcation between the fallow of my scalp and the dunes of my forehead. Quiet, you will paste stray hairs back into their place. 2. Memento Mori. All sod and taproot now, all tuber and stem shoot, mulch throb, lush with worms and slugs, we are never worth more than this. Thrum of the earth, clatter bulge of cicada shells along the coffin's hinges, teak and scented cedar flushed with compost, an elegy of rot, this counterfeit reliquary. If you each day clutch our pillows, press them to your face, press to take in some atom of me all into the hollows of my chest, yes, I promise my ghost will haunt you, should you find someone else to love. I've been saying this for the past, I don't know, half hour to Jason, who was so kind as to sort of Jedi mind trick me into reading. It's fucking cold in California.
It's cold in San Francisco.
I came from New York and I brought like a bathing suit. I was like, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, surf's up. It's cold. It was, and everyone says the same thing. It was hot yesterday. It was really hot. But thank you for having me just for these 3 poems. It's been amazing to watch everybody from the youth to the not youth.
Who you call the not you?
It's a beautiful thing to come out under the stars and read poems to each other.
Word. Welcome to Shadow.
That's what.
We still love you though. Talking about us.
Fish heads. Yanked free at the gills from cartilage and spine, these fish heads my mother cleans, whose body she scales, throws all into salt water and crushed tamarind. At dinner, she alone will spoon out their eyes with her fingers, suck down each pair as we watch. See, this is why the 3 of you could never hide anything from me, as though these organs brought her sight to be soaked through the tongue. When I tell her I have tried to make this stew from memory, she warns, don't waste what should be eaten. Reminds me of every delicate gift we have ever thrown away. Tilapia stomach, best soured with vinegar, milkfish liver to melt against the dome of the mouth. That after church, a bucket of chicken soon became a blessing of wing gristle and skin, dark meat no one else wanted to save. We refused to taste her gizzards and hearts fried in fat, mocked the smell of pig blood curdled on the stove, wished gone her tripe steamed with beef bouillon and onion broth. After my brother and my sister push aside bowls of baby squid in garlic ink, gag at my mention of ducks in their shells, boiled alive in brine, my mother believes I was the only one to share in such things. Which maybe means, she says, in some former life, you and I were seabirds, or vampires, or wolves.
Poetry.
So I'm going to close with a sequence, if that's okay. This is totally brand new, so I'm just going to risk this with you all. So I live in Brooklyn, and I'm not tough at all, but not like real Brooklyn. Not Brooklyn, the capital B. But we're surrounded by water, and you spoke about the Gulf earlier, and so water has been in my head, and I think a lot about water. So this poem is how water is trying to kill us, and how we're trying to make it through. It's called Ballast. 1. The winds and all the many millions of days have thrust themselves against us. See how heavy our breastbones weigh against the air, how our marrow lacks the pores which might allow us even a single buoyant leap into the sky. We have arms where wings should reside, blood thickened with brine and iron. We are the lump sum of the ground that holds us dear. And yet, there are equatorial calms begging to be breached, and there is the cusp of a canyon, dressed in a coral of marigolds, visible only from above. 2. Lately it seems the water has been waiting for us to keep trying to make it across. The rivers and trenches glossed with light know we are relentless, so we plan for catastrophe, layer backup upon reserve. A pilot could suffer an aneurysm mid-flight, and he could pass quietly without panic in the cabin, his crew gathering themselves to drape him across the floor. A flock of geese might cascade into our engines, and still the plane can float its way downstream towards the battery. 3. Nightfall. Pirate boy steps off the pier and into the thick flashes of the newsmen, not at all like the others who hang their coats off their foreheads or hang their faces before hearings. He is smiling broadly upon meeting a mustard crowd littered scattershot by the gaffers and grip crews. Better to be here on this continent of confessions and oaths than a body washed ashore, your pockets stuffed with ransom, is what they call out to him past the cordon with one fit voice. Better alive mocked by frogmen and sharpshooters than tagged and shelved in the holds of some frigate moored off that coast of bones. 4. Save your blessed fires, your blessed salts. Nectarine devotionals have for starboard altars. The tenders and trawlers mothballed and dry docked want more of us than prayer beads and weeping, snake wine and raveling nets. But what can we offer save for harvests of rust, black kites, signs of the cross? Each morning the gulf between promise and wound flares like a ghost limb, a tunnel filling slowly with salt water and krill. We are a hive of nerves. Yes, a flotilla raided by the dark. 5. Cormorants struck the pier lengths without notice of dive teams and boatmen. Winches heavy with what's left of the rear rotors, seam welds, the guiding surfaces frayed and buckled. Not the dark of water, but its force upon us. Some spokesman will mouth into boom mics, naming the enemy, and its hold upon the ships marshaled to these wrecks. Call it recovery when the river surrenders all of what remains in its silt. When a plane, wrecked, is found whole with the exception of its wings. Thank you.